Hello everyone, welcome once again to Samadhi. Today is Saturday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 2018,
Yay.
and we are here at the wetlands, the beautiful wetlands, bringing you the daily word with so much gratitude in our hearts for being able to do this for everyone, including you in our lives. And Michael will do us the honor of bringing the daily word.
I'm actually pulling it up right now.
There we go. I will see.
Thank you everyone for joining us. What a beautiful day today is, this Saturday morning, and out here in nature, just enjoying nature. And
there's Duke. No, that's Duke, I said. And there's Duke. Someone calling their dog.
Oh, I thought you meant it was that guy we met.
No, that was Daisy.
Okay. Beautiful dog. We just met a beautiful dog, and such a example of peace that this dog portrays. Like, I just hugged the dog, and I even asked the owner, I said, this is a very peaceful dog. He says, yes, very peaceful. And we were talking about the dog emulates this unconditional love. And if we could just be a portion of that, if we could just focus on a portion of what a dog emulates with unconditional love, imagine how much more great the world would be, how much more peaceful, how much more loving, how much more harmonious this world would be if we could just learn from dogs. If we can learn from children of the peace that they have inside. So, without further ado, let's get into the daily word. So let's take a deep, cleansing, purifying breath of presence, of awareness, of life. And let's exhale everything that's keeping us from this moment. Let's give ourselves the gift of the present moment in this presence. Taking a deep breath in. And all as one, ready to receive. Thank you everyone again. The word for today is, which we know who is with us in spirit. I already seen it. Joy, because I had to copy it for Spanish. So the word today is joy. Joy.
I got the joy.
There it is. Oops, wait a minute. There it is. Joy. I am continuously renewed by my joyful spirit. Ooh, I'm going to read that again. I am continuously renewed. I am continuously renewed by my joyful spirit. I just want to tap into that really quick. Renewed, restored, rejuvenated by my joyful spirit. It doesn't say I'm renewed by the things of the world. I'm not renewed by what people say about me, what people think about me, what even happens in my life. It says, I am continuously renewed by my joyful spirit. That's something no one can take away from you. That's something you can't earn. You just got to remember that that's who you are. So, continuing. I experience joy as my heart's inner jewel. It has its source in a diffusion of light that will never give out. My inner radiance of being. Unlike happiness, which may come and go depending on circumstances and moods, my inner joy constantly shines forth from within my heart. Yes. Listen to the joy the birds have. I just got a download. Every morning the birds sing. Every morning the birds sing. They're always joyful. Always appreciating life. They're not sitting there complaining about why things are going wrong and doubting their wings, because they trust their wings. And I love this quote that I seen, that a bird is on a branch and it's like very flimsy. And it says the bird doesn't rely on the branch. The bird trusts its wings. It's not afraid. So what are our wings for the example of today? Is that inner joy, that inner truth that we all have and share. Just as a jewel expresses through a seemingly infinite number of facets, there is no limit to the expressions through which I can demonstrate this inner joy. Every circumstance of life is my opportunity to experience deep soul satisfaction. I can activate this light or this presence at any time I choose. Yes, joy is my decision. I allow its brilliance to shine forth into greater and more satisfying expressions of God's goodness. That's a beautiful word today. I speak, this is from John 17:13. I speak these things in the world so that they may have my joy made complete in themselves. So, in the verse, it's from 13 to 19, and I read it earlier and I wanted to read the whole thing. It says, this is Jesus. Now I'm returning to you. I'm saying these things in the world's hearing so my people can experience my joy completed in them. I gave them your word. The godless world hated them because of it, because they didn't join the world's ways. Just as I didn't join the world's ways. I'm not asking that you take them out of the world, but that you guard them from the evil one, or the confused one. They are no more defined by the world than I am defined by the world. Make them holy, consecrated with the truth. And consecrated means to decree in sacredness, to claim in sacredness. Make them holy, consecrated with the truth. Your word is consecrating truth. In the same way that you gave me a mission in the world, I gave them a mission in the world. I'm consecrating myself for their sakes, so they'll be truth consecrated in their mission. So here's something that I desire to share. And the word of today is joy. Jesus had a joyful spirit because he didn't rely on the world to depend on the joy of the world. He knew the joy was within. And that's one thing I keep reminding people is, let's not look at Jesus as above us, as a God above us. Let's look as Jesus as a teacher, as an example. Because we have that inner joy. And when we stand one with God, we're one with Jesus. Jesus said, I desire to make you my friends, not my servants. Jesus was one with us. So why do we keep thinking and believing that Jesus is above us and that we don't have the potential to do what Jesus did? It even says in the Bible that Jesus said, ye all can do greater things than I have in God's name. So what's keeping you from believing the potential and the greatness that you are? And another thing I desire to share is this. I lost it. Hold on. There it is. Oh no, not that one. It says, the godless world hated them because of it, because they didn't join the world's ways, just as I didn't join the world's ways. Now, when the world seems to be against you, it's because you're doing something right. I'm not talking about like negative things that you're, doing things that people don't appreciate. What I'm talking about is when you're living your truth. People might think you're crazy. People might think there's something wrong with you because the world isn't used to peace. The world isn't used to compassion. The world isn't used to unconditional love, true love. The world isn't used to transparency. So when the world is against you, when you live in these God ways, then don't let the world stop you from being you. The world is confused. And in its confusion, it's going to judge you just like it judges us. But we don't let the world stop us. If we let the world stop us, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So, as our example to you, don't let the world stop you because it can't stop you. Only you can stop you. We may give excuse to the world, we may give excuse to the educational system, to the political system, to the government, to the religious systems, that they're not doing the right thing. But Jesus said that we came here to fulfill what God wants to be fulfilled. Is God-like ways, not depending on people, places and things and circumstances to say if we're doing something right. Just look at nature. I just got a message from nature. Nature wants to thrive, but humans think they need to build. Humans think they need to cut trees down to make this world a better place. But nature doesn't fight, nature doesn't argue. The birds, the creatures just scramble, they leave their domains because trees are being cut down, and they look for a new habitat. They're not fighting with humans. They're evolving to survive. And that's what spirit is doing. But guess what? There's a moment in time where enough is enough. We're not running no more. We used to hide in our homes and talk about meditation and spiritual things because people would think we're crazy. I mean, the way that we break things down, we can't really talk in most circles because there's really not a lot of transparency in most circles. We talk about the things that we know and people feel threatened. But do we stay quiet? No. Thank you. Look at this beautiful, beautiful hummingbird. So, live your truth, not based on anybody else's truth. Don't even believe anything that I'm saying. Feel the truth and what you resonate with, and let that be your guide. We just exist as reminders, but your true guide is inside of you. Let that joy be your guide. Not the joy of the world, but the joy of your heart. Alice?
Well, it's one of my favorites, to be joyful. I love it when I'm in that presence of joy. Sometimes we allow outer things to rob us of that joy. We give attention to the circumstances, the world falling apart. You go through so many things in life. Everybody has a beautiful story to unfold about trials and tribulation. But when you have that joy in your heart that nobody else gives you but God, so nobody can take it away. It only comes from God.
Say that again.
When you have that joy in your heart, it's given to you by God, and no one can take it away because they didn't give it to you.
Exactly.
I can't, I can't explain it, but I know that when I just am living my truth, like Michael said, live your truth, seek that truth. So when I'm living my truth, when I am at my best, not hiding behind a mask, not hiding behind fear, not hiding behind judgment, when I am my true self, living in that moment and trusting God, that joy just seems to just come out of every pore, and it's almost incredible. Even my vocabulary changes. Even my way of talking to Michael sometimes changes when I have that. It's okay, sorry. When I have that joy, and I know it comes from God because it's so pure, and it's not just like a happy moment, because we all have happy moments, but that inner joy, that inner knowing that everything is okay, will always be okay. You just enjoy the unfoldment of your journey. And there isn't anything more joyous to me than waking up and thanking God for my life, taking that deep breath and saying, wow, I'm just excited to see what the day brings.
Yes.
And that's my joy. Being my true self, following my heart, brings me tremendous joy.
Amen.
So, thank you.
And I love what it said in today's daily word. It said about, thank you, Alice, because you do emanate that so well. That's actually why I fell in love with her.
Another reason?
I didn't fall in love with her. I joined in love with her.
That's beautiful.
I love what it says that yes.
They're very joyful right
I
now.
experience joy as my heart's inner jewel. It has its source in a diffusion of light or essence or presence that will never give out. That will never give out. My inner radiance of being. I love this part where it says, unlike happiness, which may come and go depending on circumstances and moods, my inner joy constantly shines forth from within my heart. Now, everybody tells you to be happy, be happy, be happy, be happy. But really happiness is just covering masks that people are hiding away or escaping from. And I've lived it. And I can really share and talk about this because that's one thing I've worked on so much, is stop being happy and really tune into my joy. Tune into my truth, to our truth, because we all share this space. Now, it's so easy to put on a happy face, but it's not easy to remember the joy, because you have to face what's keeping you from your joy. See, that's the sacrifice. That's the dedication. You can't find your joy if you're lying to yourself, covering up with happiness. I didn't mention it in today's daily word, but we need to cover that. In order to find your joy, you need to be willing to look within yourself, and regardless of all the circumstances that exist in here, because let me tell you, the circumstances that exist in here are much stronger than the circumstances that exist out here, because out here is a reflection of what is in here, in the brain. So, when you can face that and go beyond that, you find the keys to the kingdom.
I have something to add.
Sure.
One thing that helps me, because my background, my tendency, my drug of choice, if you want to call it that, was sadness, victimization, very sensitive and always crying. But one thing that helps me during that time, that either brings me back to my center or at least guides me a bit to remember, I do my best to have gratitude. When I have gratitude for every circumstance, be it good or bad or whatever, when I have gratitude, that joy is always there. Just that circumstances out here provoke in me that sadness or provoke in me that sensitivity, which sometimes it's okay, obviously, if you see a tender moment of something. There's nothing wrong with expressing that tenderness and that sensitivity, but not when you make it your constant go-to, and you go into this deep hole of depression. That's not what I'm talking about. So whenever you feel that, how can I get my joy back, or just go within and be grateful. Just start listing the things that you're grateful for, and before you know it, that joy starts to come up, because it's always there. God gave it to us. Look at a child when they're playing, they're so into what they're doing, and that joy in their heart when they see you walk in the door, if they've missed you, they're so content and just in their moment. And if they have a little squabble of something, they come right back and they're playing again like if nothing happened. They're always joyful.
Yep.
So that's my 2 cents worth.
Very good, very good. I feel more and more, but it'll be for another daily word.
So thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and just remember, we're out here in nature. Just be joyful like nature. Nature's patient, nature's loving, nature's kind. But at the same time, it goes through the strongest of concrete. It can't be stopped. So don't let appearances make you think that your joy is weak, because your joy is strong. Because if we look, when a seed breaks through concrete or breaks through asphalt, our normal ways of seeing things would think that the asphalt is stronger than the plant, because it's very strong, it's very thick, it's very solid, and that plant is very soft, very tender, very limber. But when it has a desire and it has a purpose, it'll break through the strongest of concrete, through the strongest of asphalt. When your heart's desire is strong, when you remember who and what you are, doesn't matter what's thrown at you, you'll break through that concrete. And that's what that inner joy is, a gift from Spirit to us. That can get us through the most challenging of circumstances. So, remember the truth of who you are, and it will break through any barriers of perspective, any barriers of limitations that you may have, that you may think you have, because you really don't have them. You've just been led to believe that that is your limitation. So, thank you everyone for watching today's Daily Word, and remember to practice. I continuously I am continuously renewed by my joyful spirit. Renew your mind daily, and remember the joy that you are. Remember the truth that you are. Remember the divinity that you are, and you will tune into joy. You will tune into all the gifts that are all of ours, our gifts from Spirit. It's just, are you willing to take the time? Are you willing to put the energy? Are you willing to put all things aside for this truth? Thank you, everyone. Blessings to you all.